Hello there and welcome to the new channel.
Here to help you see
The new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansala.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Orgamit.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebastillo.
I'm Dani Acuña.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Muppet Erhina.
I'm Leo Bryan.
Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar.
This is Sonny Jaldon.
Haydee Lumayno.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
It's your turn.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Dani Art Show.
Healthline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories.
Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC ignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC ignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We're helping you see the new you. This is Sonny Jaldon streaming from San Jose, California.
And this is Haydee Lumayno streaming live from Metro Cebu. You're watching Money and More.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We
Mayong gabi,
are
Sonny.
Mayong
Ug
gabi.
mayong
Hello,
buntag
Haydee.
din sa imuha.
Yeah, it's 5:30 in the morning here in the
I
United
know,
States.
right? Yan.
Yeah, at
Magandang
least.
gabi po sa lahat ng mga viewers natin tonight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Money and More. You wouldn't know it, but ang bilis ng panahon, it's already March. March na pala.
It
No,
is.
we're in the
Malapit
middle
ng
of March.
Pasko.
Yeah, we're in the middle of March. And happy anniversary to the nationwide lockdown 1 year ago.
Yes. It was today ba yon?
Or
16?
yeah.
Oo.
1 year today, at least dyan sa Pilipinas, no? 1 year today, nag-start po yung lockdown, no? Yung community lockdown, which since then, no, turned over our nag-overturn ang buhay natin, no? Na-overturn
Yeah,
ang
but
buhay ng
that
karamihan.
lockdown is in the Philippines, pero sa inyo, hindi pa kayo nag-lockdown at this time, right?
No, nauna
Am I correct?
kami, no? Ang
Nauna ba kayo?
March 16 din, no? March 16 din, no, nag-lockdown dito sa California. So na-overturn din, no, ang buhay ng karamihan sa ating mga kababayan, karamihan sa mga tao sa mundo actually, no. So we're 1 year into that pandemic, which brought a lot of chaos, no. 2020, as we said, it was a challenging year for everybody, and we all had to adjust and change and flip, no, what we've been doing to be able to survive. And for many of us, it was a great time. Also, it was a good time. It was a great opportunity to thrive as well.
For most of us, no, or for some at first, parang tuwang-tuwa pa tayo kasi we will have more time at home, more time with our loved ones, but we never expected na aabot siya ng isang taon. And still,
and it's still ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, let us not forget that we are still in the middle of pandemic, no? Vaccine or no, no? May vaccine na, but we can actually see the effect of that, no? A little bit. The economy here, at least, is opening up a little bit. There's a lot of there's a lot of positivity, no, in the market because of the vaccines, because of the vaccine rollout, at least, no. But we're still in the middle maybe the beginning of the end of this pandemic. But nevertheless, the pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons, no, of how businesses will conduct their business, no, how enterprises will conduct their business in the future. Kasi nagbago na
ang landscape.
Ang landscape, no. A recent survey done showed that over 60% of those who work from home ayaw nang bumalik sa office. Work from home na sila, no? Work from home na lang. 70% of new job postings are work from home, no? So work from home has become somehow and will be somehow, no, the new normal moving forward. It's going to be an exciting time. Now, it's going to be a different time, but it's also going to be an exciting time.
Ikaw, Sonny, ano yung nabago sa'yo financially?
2020 was
ano
a
yung
challenging-
naidulot ng pandemic? Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of finances.
Well, it's been a challenging year, as we said, no? So, but it also, as we said, the pandemic has highlighted the things that we lack, no? Na kulang pala tayo ng savings, kulang pala tayo ng insurance, marami tayong mga pagkukulang. Pinakita ng pandemic, no? Pinakita ng situation na to na yung mga pagkukulang natin. Financially, malaki ang na-save kasi na-cut down yung travel time, na-cut yung travel, no? Yung vacations, a lot of vacations. But there's a lot of savings and there's a lot of opportunities as well.
And speaking about opportunity, ako din, no, I have been telling this na if I didn't have time to look at about global investing or global funds investing, ngayon, during the pandemic, I was able to take a look at it, no, and nag-attend ako ng orientation and know more about it. And isa yon sa mga natutunan ko na kung hindi siguro nag-pandemic, I wouldn't have time to study and research on these kinds of instruments or investment platforms.
Investments, right? And that's
Yes.
exactly what we're going to talk about tonight, no? Yung how the landscape of investment has changed because of the pandemic, no? A lot of media, no? The media has been putting a spotlight on tech investments, no? Especially in the past few months. And parang naging at least dito sa US, no, naging and for the global investors, it has been nahulog si Fabio.
Nahulog siya.
Nakon siya.
Yes.
Naantok kasi 5:30 nga, no, sa umaga ngayon. All right. Yeah, at least dito, no, sa the past few months naging uso yung mga bywords like shorting the stock. GameStop has become parang a meme, no, na hedge funds. Yun yung mga terminology na pumasok na sa common lexicon, no, sa common discussions, and people may or may not understand what's going on, no.
And people may not know na meron ng ganyan, di ba? Because like me, ang naalam ko lang sa stocks investing is yung you need to have a broker, and then you need to invest a big amount. Kaya nga din, isa sa reason na hindi ako nag-invest kasi parang at that time, I don't know if kakayanin ko yung minimum na required na investment. And right now, it's already at the tip of our fingers, no? Na pwede na natin siyang salihan. Even students can do it as long as they know what they're into. So, very accessible na siya at this time.
So, investing, no, is a buzzword. But we take it with a grain of salt, no? We have to understand first what's our goal, no? Bakit tayo mag-invest in the first place, no? What we don't want is to get into to join the bandwagon without understanding, no, the ins and outs. No, well, not really.
Important.
You don't really need, you don't really need to have an in-depth understanding, but at least a general understanding of what is happening, no? And it opens a lot of opportunities, no? This is the time of the global investor, as you said. The technology is in the tip of our fingers. No, the technology has changed so that even Filipinos, no, yung mga nasa Pilipinas, no, will be able to get involved in the global marketplace, which is incredibly robust, but also has its risks, no, and that is why we have invited a guest to come back, no, kasi
actually,
ang bilis,
kasi
no?
ang daming nagre-request, di ba?
Kasi ang bilis ng
natin siya
pagbabago.
nag-guest?
I think it was
November, December.
Right. November.
And then after that, ang dami nang nagre-request.
Yeah, because na-overturn na yung na-overturn there have been plenty of changes, no, in the global market, no. And for the global investor, baka kailangan natin somebody we need some sort of compass or navigation, no, to navigate through all of this, no, especially since everything has changed. Our guest for tonight has been gracious enough, no, to accept our invitation, all right, and to shed some light, no, on what he calls of what is happening right now, no, what we call industrialization 2.0, and how we can jump into that, no, to create an innovation fund, no. He'll also shed some light, no, on that, no, an innovation fund to fund your future goals. All right.
Yeah, ito yung mga topics na gustong-gusto ng mga millennials. So, if you are watching right now, you can actually type in your questions at the comment box later para masagot ni Horeb. Okay. So, to start with, no, introduce ko yung speaker, yung guest natin tonight, no. He's the ASEAN scholar, no. He did ASEAN studies, and he is also an alumnus of UP. Sonny, kagaya mo, no? And he graduated cum laude. And then he's also a Korean presidential awardee with full master's scholarship to Korea, magna cum laude, political science na course. And he's also a member of the $1 Million Roundtable, an executive financial consultant of AIA Film Life, a financial analyst, and of course, he is also the founder of Creators of Wealth, my mentor, none other than Horeb Dagandan. Hi,
Hello.
Horeb.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sir Son. Good evening,
Hello,
Miss Haydee, and of course. Good evening
Kamusta?
to all of your viewers. Eto,
How's your
excited
first
to reconnect with you.
anniversary of the pandemic?
The first anniversary was just spent here at home. So yung
Mhm.
mga plants na naiwan ko before sa condo unit na I was very lucky to get the babies, no? Kasi hindi ko mauuwi lahat. Ang dami nila. So I got their babies from the condo and I brought them back here. I took care of them. Patay na yung
Wow.
parents nila sa condos ngayon for sure. Kasi
Patay.
hindi na ako nakakabalik ng party. So yun lang. In short, I've been propagating plants, growing things, not just investment, not just money, but also, living things.
Yeah, that's nice, no? Grabe. So you're into
Uh,
plants na ngayon.
yes po.
Along
For
with
a
Nice.
year.
along with the millions who have discovered their plantito and plantita DNA, no?
Yeah,
And it
that's
has
right.
extended, ha, Sonny, if I may say. Kasi bumili
Mm.
si Horeb ng farmland. O, di ba? Kung anong nagagawa ng being a plantito. Ang galing! Nako,
Opo.
Diyos ko. Ano ko pa yan? Parang isa pa yan sa mga dreams and mga goals ko to have a farmland.
Mm.
Tapos si Horeb, ang bata-bata pa, he already was able to achieve that. That's what investment can do. O, di ba?
Okay.
So, ngayon, tuturuan mo kami, Horeb, kung paano ba dumating
Yes.
sa ganyang status.
But of
Yun.
course, I
Yeah.
have to highlight din yung sinabi ni Sir Sonny, no, na may mga
Mm.
bagay tayong dapat munang matutunan, not the very
Mhm.
in-depth, no, pero at least yung risks involved, yung certain, veil of knowledge about global markets because it's not that easy.
Right.
I know.
Right. Understanding the basics, as we said, then, diba? You just don't jump into the deep end of the pool, as we said, no. We'll see.
Mm.
We'll see where this will go. It's great to have you here, Horeb, no. It's always
Thank you.
a pleasure to have this discussion with you kasi a lot of our viewers have been asking, with the changes that are happening, with the changes that are happening, how can I capitalize on it? No, how can I capitalize on it? How can I jump into it? No, ganun. Some of them are maybe just starting an investment fund. Some of them are already
Right.
deep into traditional investments, no, and probably not seeing much growth. And maybe some of you are curious, no, how do I get started? So Horeb is
Yeah.
here to shed some light on us, no. In our backstage discussions, Horeb, you mentioned about industrialization 2.0, no? Ano po ba ito?
Right.
Right? Can we show that?
Industrialization 2.0. Actually, I've benefited quite a lot from my studies, no. So kids out there who are, I'm sure meron tayong mga high school, college students sa audience, no. Do not disregard your studies, no. Hindi porke may distance learning na yan na lang, no. It's very important to still sit in front of your desk and study, because dapat students tayo ng history. And now I'm going to give you a very short crash course of industrialization 2.0. But before that, kailangan nating mag-backtrack or backpedal ng konti. No? Ano ba yung industrialization 1.0? So I think Mr. Sonny is showing the picture of industrialization 1.0, and that includes, number one, the capability of humans to do hand to machine or to transition from hand to machine activities. No, yung pag-spin ng cotton, naging machine na yan, di ba? Yung pagsulat ng mga manuscript or pag-reproduce, naging printing press na yan, di ba? Of course, nandun din yung transition natin sa chemical manufacturing or chemical production, allowing us to produce plastic, di ba? So that propelled humanity to create a lot of synthetics, no, from skincare to food storage and so on. And also, naging posible yung pagtatayo ng mga skyscrapers, ng mga tulay,
Right.
ng mga kalsada, tsaka mga railways, no, for transportation, etc., ng tao at ng pagkain at ng commodities, because we were able to manufacture alloys na hindi basta-basta nagra-rust. So yan yung industrialization 1.0. It's a prerequisite to dematerialized industrialization 2.0, whereby ang tao or ang industry ngayon hindi na reliant on the physicality of things. As mentioned kanina, 'di ba? Marami nang nakakapagtrabaho from home. Hindi na natin kailangan mag-travel, no, para lang makapunta sa opisina or maging productive. Hindi na natin kailangan humawak ng pako, martilyo, lagare, 'di ba? pwede na tayong mag-create through codes, through programming. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin through a non-material dimension of things, no? So, ngayong COVID, napatunayan natin na things, that time is being propelled forward. So, marami mga pagbabagong naganap sa ekonomiya, sa pamamaraan ng pag-create natin ng value. Of course, kung paano natin din pinapahalagahan yung mga bagay-bagay or how we attach value to things.
Okay.
Ngayon, meron na tayong Bitcoin, di ba? Before, sabi nila gold is the only store of value through time and space. But now, Bitcoin is here and it's here to stay, di ba? Boney Mellon or BNY Mellon, JP Morgan, Citibank, all of the big financial institutions are now considering cryptocurrencies as a legitimate part of a portfolio.
Okay.
If you haven't read 1% of sabi ni JP Morgan, di ba, it encourages its clients to put 1% in Bitcoin. So there is indeed a definitive instruction for us to heed the past and project where it's going to go. So let's be ahead of the curve. So if we show the second slide, history means moving forward. It means moving forward as humanity forges an additional route towards development. Hindi naman different kasi dala pa rin natin si Industrialization 1.0, di ba? We
Okay.
just have to carry what we had built before and integrate them to the current developments in technology that we have at the moment. Imagine had this pandemic, Miss Haydee and Sir Son, if this happened noong 1995, ano kayang sanity level natin ngayong pandemic? Kakayanin ba na wala internet?
Huwag naman 1995 kasi that's actually true, no? Wala pa tayo. We don't have the technology to be able to to be able to adjust that way, no? As you said, wala pang internet, wala pang ganun, no? Di ko ma-imagine if it was in 1995 during the 90s.
Ang dami na nating tanim
Dark
or
Ages
bunga
tayo,
na.
no? Baka makabalik tayo sa Dark Ages because number one, communication wouldn't be as robust as it is right now, no? We don't know what would be happening, no? 1995, uso na ba yung text nun? 1995,
Oo.
Bill
Android
Crusher
phone.
pa yata.
Meron na.
Hindi pa. Kwan pa yun, yung mga malalaking phones.
Physical.
Pager.
Pager. Yes.
Pager pa, no? So
Pager.
communications, number one, wouldn't be as you're right, no? Probably if this happened earlier, no? Probably 1995 during the 90s, notwithstanding the 1997 Asian crash, no? But yeah, Dark Ages, no? So maybe it was quote unquote good timing. Now we already have this technological advancements at this age, no? That the pandemic happened.
Right.
Kasi you could just imagine, no, if you have families outside the Philippines na hindi mo alam kung ano na nangyayari way back 1995 because you don't have the means of communication. You don't have the technology to talk to them and mga musta, di ba? So, you're correct. Ano kaya yung level ng sanity natin way back? Had it happened at that time.
And I think also in terms of finding solutions, no, you can imagine at this point in time where AI is already a predominant mode of discussion. Pagdating sa problema ng pangkalusugan, kasi of course Google had already developed its DeepMind artificial intelligence. So yung mga ganitong artificial intelligence was able to accelerate yung discovery ng vaccine. Siguro 1995 wala pa tayong vaccine at this point in time and baka lalong maging pahirap tong pandemic na to for a longer period of time. So ngayong meron na tayong seeds of technology that were developed, planted for decades, no? Early 1990s. Syempre nagkaroon ng dot-com bubble before. Akala ng mga tao sobrang sasabog na yung Amazon, yung Yahoo.
Yeah, Yahoo especially. Right.
Lahat ng mga
AOL.
mga hype. So AOL, 'di ba? Yung mga yan, mga hype before, sabi nila, this will become a $1 trillion contributor to the economy. But of course, the technology back then, the ability of people to compress transistors into a small space, 'di ba? Hindi pa yun available before. Pero ngayon, kung mapapansin niyo, noong 1990s, yung mga storage device natin, 'di ba, 128 megabytes ang mahal na noon sa digital camera. Pero the same size ng SSD natin ngayon, we can put everything and jam pack everything. 10 gigabytes kayang-kaya kasing liit lang ng kuko ng tao, 'di ba? So before naitanim yung seeds of technological innovation, pero ngayon lang natin nire-reap. Ngayon lang natin inaani. So ngayon, the question is, are we able to foresee the transition that's ongoing, that's unraveling before our eyes? Are we ready to see where the curve is going, or are we aware of the companies that touch the future? Because if we are not aware of these companies and the industries that have a bearing on the world's future, hindi natin masasakyan eh. Although parang pangit pakinggan yung word na masasakyan, ano. Pero in simple terms, hindi natin masasakyan yung growth that these technological advancements have. Can you imagine editing away, for example, ALS, 'di ba? Like genomic or engineering, genetic engineering, 'di ba? Or can you imagine developing vaccines for things that can actually be prevented, like malaria and so on, in the best possible cost, no? With the best possible cost. So yun yung mga bagay-bagay na industrialization 2.0 has brought to the fore, no, thanks to the pandemic, mas na-accelerate. So if we show the next slide, we can see here the dynamics of industrialization 2.0. We can see here number 1, Moore's Law. Familiar po kayo dito, Ms. Haydee and Sir Son? And maybe some of the audience, you can comment if familiar kayo sa Moore's Law. Meron pang isa Wright's Law. So I believe in the Wright's Law more, where efficiency of technology actually doubles every 2 years. Yes, tama, Sir Son.
Every 2 years, right?
Etong Moore's Law naman, ganun din, ano? So, ibig sabihin yan, mas nagiging efficient lang yung technology natin, manufacturers natin, in developing semiconductors and jam-packing them into a smaller space. Now, we have cloud computing as well, where we don't need physical storage. We can work from anywhere in the world. And etong panghuling picture na to yung favorite ko. If the audience can see, dyan sa nag-iisang desk na yan, ano, it's the world before social media. But now, social media is in front of us, na-compress na, no? Sa isang desk, nandyan na si LinkedIn, si Foursquare, si Instagram, nandyan na lahat. So ito yung tinatawag na dematerialization of industries. What's sad about our current investment portfolio in the Philippines, no, particularly in developing countries, hindi natin na ma-maximize yung ganitong klaseng industries where products and services can be evaporated and transported to different parts of the world, gaining a lot of potential users, or yung network effect na tinatawag, ano. Because at this point in time, if we go to the next page, you can see here industries like 5G, renewable energy, artificial intelligence. We have here health and genomics, decentralized economy like Fiverr, Zoom, 'di ba? Ayun ginagamit natin, StreamYard, 'di ba? We have Bitcoin or Money 2.0. All of these things are dematerialized products of innovation. Sad lang, balikan lang natin yung sinasabi ko, if we show the next slide, a typical Filipino portfolio includes only real estate. For instance, food and beverage, and Merrimart, Jollibee. We have legacy internet dito, 'di ba? Recently, traditional finance, BDO, BPI, mining and energy. So ito yung typical na laman ng isang UITF or mutual fund na exposed tayo. So may malaking chasm or may malaking gap that exists because we cannot ride on the innovation that's basically waiting to be picked. No, I'm showing here the difference, 5-year chart or returns ng index natin, Philippine Stock Exchange Index, and the popular mutual funds and UITFs in the country. So hindi ko na lang papangalanan, nandiyan naman yung ticker symbol, but you can see that 5 years na, hindi pa rin masyadong lumalago. In fact, some of them are, some ba or all of them are negative. I screen captured them nung 14th of March lang, no? So as compared to ETFs or investments that have technological companies inside of them, kung makikita natin, Yes, tech components. Over here, we have NASDAQ. In the past 5 years, it had already given us 177.75%. So we have here
Okay.
Amazon, of course, Facebook, Google, all the things that you're using.
Right.
Diba? So I was imagining, what if Filipinos can expose a percentage of their funds to these global investments? Wouldn't their returns be much more, palatable kaysa sa negative returns sa ganito? So just
Right.
to be clear, I'm not saying that we have to leave the Philippine Stock Exchange Index or the Philippine market altogether, but we have to diversify geographically, because diversifying by virtue of picking a red company, a blue company, a yellow company, that does not make a lot of sense, because it's not diversification if we don't diversify outside of the country. So
Right.
many portfolio managers and financial advisors know that. Unfortunately, they're limited because of their, how do you call this, their allegiance to a particular company. But at this point in time, we have fintech like Globe, diba? We have Robinhood, we have eToro, and many other fintech investment companies that allow just anyone to participate in the global markets with a
Right.
very low entry fee. So maybe that's something our audience can recon or can
Right.
consider.
Okay, Horeb, let's pause for a while, no? As we get into the discussion is actually getting very interesting. No, I really like the chart, showing the gap, as you said, no, the gap in growth between the traditional portfolios and what's happening in the tech sector, no, and especially global funds, no. Nakita talaga natin yung difference in the gaps,
Ang
in
laki
that
ng
gap.
gap, no?
Ang
From the
laki ng
ano.
gap, right? So maybe we will be asking you later on, Horeb, no? Maybe it's a question of access, no? Nakikita ko yung nakikita ko yung gap. So how do I access all of this, no? So maybe there are platforms there that you can talk about, when we come back from this break.
Sure.
All right, please watch. Welcome back, and please watch all our live stream shows here in the new channel, such as Life Turning Stories at U-Turn Mondays and Thursdays, 10:30 a.m. The stage is yours. TNC The Talk Mondays at 12 noon. Have an awesome day Mondays at 2:30. The Home Buyer guides you to a property Monday and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Laugh and learn from the Puppet Stories Mondays at 5:30. Notable personalities and their stories on The Big Picture with Lloyd Luna, Mondays to Fridays at 7 p.m. Listen to This Generation, The Millennial Voice, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Learn Together Across Borders, Foreign Affairs, Tuesdays at 10:30. Human Resource Management on HR Hotline was Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Well Home Brings a Well Life, Tuesdays and Saturdays. The Journey Continues, Moving on Business, Tuesdays and Fridays. The Market Leaders, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Never Too Late for a Mental Shift, Tuesdays and Thursdays. 7:30 p.m. in the US and Wednesdays and Fridays, 10:30 a.m. Philippines.
Cybersecurity is key. Cybernext, Wednesdays 12 noon. Health is wealth. Every Healthline, Wednesdays 4 p.m. Couple goals, Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. After shift, Wednesdays and Fridays 8:30 p.m. YOLO, that's gonna be every Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Negosyo at Home, Fridays 12 noon. Tech You, Fridays 2:30 p.m. Magbenta, bumili, tumulong, TNC Marketplace, Fridays and Saturdays 5:30 p.m. Danny Art Show every Fridays 5:30 p.m. Women at Work 9 a.m. Saturdays. COVID Stories Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. Family Business every Saturdays 4 p.m. Usapang Beauty Saturdays 5:30 p.m. The Fourth Project Saturdays 6 p.m. Dubai 10 p.m. Philippines 10 p.m. Win Within Saturdays 8:30 p.m. And we also have our originals one day TNC Arena, TNC PressCon and TNC Town Hall every Saturday 7 p.m. co-hosted by TNC founders Lloyd Luna and Apple Manansala. More upcoming shows. Follow TNC Now on Facebook and YouTube. Allow your passion to inspire you, and together let us see the new you. And of course, our show every Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Philippine time and 5:30 a.m. US time. And of course, Sonny, ang dami nating viewers tonight. I bet mga fans ito ni Horeb, no? And to start with, we have with us Richelle Laguerta.
Hello, Richelle.
Sino pa? Yeah.
Si Richelle, right?
Si Trisha Roldan Francisco Dagos is also with us.
Welcome.
Yep.
Right.
Sino pa bang nandyan?
We have Leslie Ann Camet Lucernas. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Right. And to
Miss Apple is watching with us.
Right.
Apple Manansala.
Miss Kate Jokno. Thank you for watching. Glad to have you here on the show.
Yeah.
If you have
and my
questions,
son is also watching. Si Ayn is watching. Very interesting yung topic daw. So, yon. Sana mag-start na din siyang mag-invest with global funds.
So we're learning a lot of things, no, from our guest Horeb. And if you have questions or comments, feel free to put them on the chat. It's a very interesting topic now because we're talking about the globalization of investing, no? And we left off. Let's bring back Mr. Horeb. Horeb, pasok. All right, there you go.
Hello, good evening to
as you said, no?
again.
As we were having the discussion, no, that technology has changed so that access, no, to global stocks has become quote unquote easier and more accessible. Right? More accessible, no, to the madlang people. As we said, no, at our fingertips na ang no. So and there's actually nothing wrong with riding on, no, with the growth of these stocks, because that's one of the strategies that we can adopt to grow our wealth.
But very important lang na sinabi ni Horeb that they should know what they are into, no. They should also understand and they should know kung para saan. So it boils down then to kung ano yung goals nila.
Right, because
para
there's
ma-match up.
Ano ba yung goals? That's right. Okay. So sige, Sir Horeb, continue with your discussion. You were mentioning about the platforms, no? Like you said, eToro, all of this. All right.
Right. So in terms of access, ito i-connect ko lang sa sinasabi ko kanina. Companies that can dematerialize or or evaporate their services and products
Mm.
para magkaroon ng access yung maraming tao all over the world are the companies that will become successful, no? So hindi natin kailangan maging localized sa isang bansa para nandun yung mga customers natin. So itong mga fintech na to na ginagamit ko for investing globally, number one, we have IBKR or
Mhm.
Interactive Brokers. So maybe some of our audience members you can reach a pen and pencil, no? Ayun, so IBKR is really good, very reliable, and it's of course may mga licenses yan, highly regulated yan sa US, continental Europe. The minimum though is a little prohibitive. It's $10,000. But there's another one. It's called eToro. So that one is a social investment platform where you can meet your friends. So para siyang para siyang Facebook of investing. So eToro naman, anyone can sign up with an account. If you sign up with an account, meron ding free money at I think that's $100,000, no? Free play money to be more precise. Not free
Play
money na
money.
100.
All right. Not
Play
free money.
money or
Play
practice
money.
money.
Practice
Right?
money.
Baka
Okay.
lahat mag-sign up bigla-bigla, buong Pilipinas, 'di ba? So practice money lang po 'yun para kung may maklik kayo na mali or habang nag-explore kayo, hindi naman ma-actualize yung losses if any. So yung dalawa, IBKR and eToro. For eToro, the starting capital is just $200. So
Bumalik na.
yes, $200 na lang from $1,000. So itong dalawa na
Yeah.
to yung ginagamit ko. Anong difference nila? For IBKR kasi, mas maraming assets na available na hindi available kay eToro. For example, when Airbnb started an IPO, mas nauna kay IBKR. There are some companies also like CRISPR Technology or CRSPIR. Yung
CRPSR.
tinatawag, yeah, CS. Yun.
Hmm.
That's the company, genomics company that I like, extremely, extremely like because of the technology behind it. Ano? It can edit away illnesses. In the near future, it can solve a lot of genetically linked problems. So I can just imagine the increase of the value of that company once the products have been unlocked, no, and approved, of course, by FDA in the US and other regulatory institutions. Available sa IBKR before, siguro after some time, no, na naging available na rin kay eToro. So, yun lang naman yung minor differences. But if you're generally an investor who simply wants to copy another person, for example, Miss Haydee, since I'm using eToro and IBKR, Miss Haydee found my account on eToro and then she clicked copy. She just clicked copy, Horeb. Kung ano yung returns ko sa eToro, naging returns din ni Miss Haydee. Even if Miss Haydee is asleep, whatever I do automatically happens to Miss Heidi's account. So she doesn't have to be an expert about it. She just have to know someone who knows what he or she is doing. So last
And I'm
year,
so
nag-start
happy with the returns, ha? In
Ilang
just a
percent na po
month,
ba, Miss Haydee?
70 plus up.
70% in
So,
just a month, diba?
yeah,
Grabe.
in
Ako
just a
rin
month.
nagulat ako eh. It doesn't happen all the time, ladies and gentlemen, our dear audience. It doesn't happen all the time. But nung bumagsak kasi yung travel industry, as you know, nagkaroon tayo ng
Mm.
pandemic. Sabi nga nila, no, merchants flock the streets. Merchants flock when there is blood on the streets.
Blood on the streets.
So, nung duguan talaga yung mga travel and oil related companies, yun yung mga binibili ko. Like American Airlines, Boeing, Royal Caribbean, tawag dito, mga hotels, no? Hotel chains. So sila yung nagdoble. Ngayong medyo nagkakaroon na ng rollout ng vaccines. So yung ganung klaseng opportunities are more easily accessible kesa sa mga traditional available instruments na meron tayo sa Philippines. So I implore people to study about this and expose a certain percentage of money globally. And of course, I'd also like, okay lang po ba to share some of my personal investments?
Of course, of
Okay lang ba
course,
yun?
of
So,
course.
I suggest people to take a look in the following ETFs. ETFs are like QITFs and mutual funds. So if you have mutual funds, imagine ETFs are like just mutual funds para hindi masyadong complicated. I invest in XLK. So you can Google XLK ETF. on Google, of course, or Yahoo browser search engine. XLK is a tech-related mutual fund, so to speak. So nandyan yung top 100 technologically related companies, no? Nasa pinakatuktok na niyan si Microsoft and Google and Apple, of course. I also invest in XOP ETF. XOP ETF is an oil and energy ETF or mutual fund, so to speak. So binili ko yung XOP na yan noong April last year kasi bagsak ang demand sa oil, mga Chevron, Shell, nandyan yung mga yan. So ngayon more than doubled na rin yung XOP because oil is picking up in terms of demand. Now, XLY is another ETF that I invest in. XLY naman, it's more on consumer discretionary. McDonald's, Nike, Apple also. So kapag umuunlad na yung ekonomiya natin, in general terms, tumataas din yung XLY because people have more stronger intention to buy and consume things. And lastly, you can also take a look at IBB. IBB is an ETF for biotech. So, mga big biotech companies are in there like AstraZeneca, yung vaccine na ginagamit, no? Pfizer is there, Johnson and Johnson. So, isang click lang sa mga ETFs na to, invested na tayo, no? With just $50. So, hindi siya ganun ka-prohibitive. So, one click, $50, meron na kayong top 100 companies.
Right. Yeah, kasi at least sa pagkakaintindi ko, at least dyan sa Pilipinas, no, ETFs is like is hotter, quote unquote, hotter na lang than the traditional investments, but it is offered, no? I think
Hindi pa po. Wala pa pong ETF dito except for FM or Metrobank.
I think there's one. Yeah, the Metrobank ETF, yes. No. Bago lang yata yun, probably 2 years ago na kwan. I don't know if it's picking. I don't know if it's picking up yung take up ng kwan na yun, but it's a buzzword. It's a byword, no. Yeah, it's a buzzword for in terms of yung nga, no. Well, it's an index, but
right, it's still an index.
It's still an index, but ano na lang. Marami mga pwedeng sabihin doon, pero probably not for this time. But anyway,
it's a backdoor na lang.
as we said, no matter what the instrument is, you're talking about this, you must have some sort of goal first, din ba?
Yes.
Ano bang goal ang gusto mo, no? Ano bang goal mo? Why are you investing? Is it for investment sake? Is it for something for a future? Can you talk about tell us more about this one?
Right, your goals can be as simple as buying an iPhone 12. Paano ba yun? Nalilito na ako. iPhone Pro Max 12 ba or 12 Pro Max or something
Max,
like
right.
that. 12 Pro Max.
Yung pinaka-latest.
Yes, yung pinaka-latest. Thank you, Miss Haydee. So if you want to buy that kind of phone with your Apple stocks, pwede naman. So that's exactly what I did. No? So last year, when I heard that Apple is going to release a new phone na merong mas advanced processor and camera, so I invested a certain amount of money in Apple shares. Kasi nga, bugbog ang Apple due to the pandemic. Nagsarado yung iba nilang supply chains, di ba? So nung tumaas naman, nag more than 100% din si Apple. So I used the proceeds to buy Apple. The goal could be as silly as that one, or it could be as serious as benchmarking your returns on your investments with your personal or household inflation. So very important na i-benchmark natin yung gusto nating gains, no? Depende sa pagtaas ng konsumo or paggastos natin in the past years. For example, maybe I can ask Miss Haydee. Miss Haydee, in the past 5 years, ano po yung average na pagtaas ng paggastos ninyo? Personally or sa household po ninyo? Mga ilang percent?
Year on year, bale lahat na. So, probably
yes, on average.
On the average, mga 10 to 15%.
So, ibig sabihin nun, every year, mga 10 to 15% mas nagiging magastos si Miss Haydee.
Yes.
Or hindi lang ibig sabihin
kasi
ng nagiging magastos.
Yeah, tataas din yung yung
standard of living.
Standard of living, yung cost ng education. Kasi the higher na mag-level up yung anak mo, tataas din yung mga cost niya, di ba? So, gasoline is also going up. So, ano na yun? Domino effect.
Right. So, hindi lang dahil magastos si Miss Haydee, guys, kaya 10 to 15%, pero tumataas din talaga yung presyo ng bilihin, ano. If you can imagine, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, ang jeepney fare, magkano lang, 250 pesos lang ngayon, 9 pesos na or even 15 because hindi na pwedeng
75
puluin,
nga
di ba?
lang cents ng time namin, Horeb.
So yung real
75 cents.
inflation, hindi yan yung totoong published na 4.7%. Ano, if you isolate yung mga common objects and services and things that we encounter in our daily lives, inflation will not just be 4.7%. So mas mataas pa. In the US, and this is what I read this morning, 15% daw talaga yung real inflation na na-encounter ng isang average American. So, wow, ganun kataas. So, if you have cash at hand or meron kang cash sa bangko, 15% nun year after year ang nasa-shave off. In the Philippines, I don't have the particular data, so let's just use the 4.7, ano. So, if we have an investment instrument that's giving 5.54% compounded annual growth rate in the past 10 years, negative 1.4 in the past 5 years, and negative 6.67% in the past 3 years. Tapos given the inflation, yung published inflation natin, this one is from NSA, we're not setting our retirement, we're not setting our future for, what we wanted na tinatawag nating financial stability, because the numbers would definitely tell you na yung 1,000 pesos ninyo 15 years down the road won't be able to fill your shopping cart. So we have to benchmark
para siyang you have to allocate some funds that will be higher than the inflation rate. Tama ba, Horeb?
Right. Yes, but if we can go back to the previous slide, yung may asset matching, ayan yung pwede nating iwanan sa mga audience natin. Kasi ang motto nga ni TNC, di ba? Kanina pinapakinggan ko yung song The New You, no? Parang the new you. So, ibig sabihin, every after session ng TNC, may naiiwan sa kanila to transform them, to align them with their passion. Tuwa ko sa lyrics ng song ninyo. So, this is something we can leave the audience with. So, yung asset matching, it's an exercise where we have to imagine ano ba sa particular life stage natin yung pwede nating sakyan na financial instrument. Imagine nyo na lang, for example, nakatira kayo sa subdivision. Siyempre, unang sasakyan nyo palabas ng subdivision, tricycle. Yun yung financial instrument, tricycle muna. So, katumbas yun ng mga bangko. Ayan, low risk, low returns, di ba? Pero at some point, if you want to go to Tagaytay or to Baguio, hindi naman forever tricycle yung sasakyan natin. Pagdating yung sa national road, dapat lumipat kayo ng financial vehicle. Jeep naman yung sasakyan natin. So, nandiyan na yung, alamin niyo kung ano yung MP2 Pag-ibig. Isang magandang financial instrument yung MP2 Pag-ibig. So, aralin din nyo. Real estate, pwede rin. Pwede kayo mag-invest sa mga blue chip like Ayala bonds or mga preferred shares na may mga fixed returns. Yan yung mga nasa gitna, mga medium returns, medium risk. Pero if you really want to achieve getting, for example, going to Europe, aeroplano dapat yung sasakyan natin dyan. We cannot imagine ourselves riding the tricycle. I mean, fantasy yun, di ba? So, dapat sumakay tayo sa aeroplano. Katumbas niyan mga fintech brokers natin like eToro offering XLK, XLV, Bitcoin, which I'm a real believer of cryptocurrencies. Hindi po siya scam, but it might be a topic for a whole different session.
Whole different session.
Whole difference. I have a lot of things to talk about cryptocurrencies.
Right. That's okay. We will expand that discussion, no? We'll expand that conversation and discussion. Kasi nga no, it's a very interesting and broad topic, no? But I like what you mentioned, no, dun sa asset matching. Where are you going? Anong sasakay mo? Tama?
Yes,
right.
That's right.
Right. All right, we'll have more conversations with Horeb when we come back from this break. All right. Um, we are inviting everybody to check out the Global Women Who Rule in 2021. All right. This will be on March 27 on Saturday. It's a live stream in the TNC 1 to 7 p.m. There are many keynote speeches now for empowered women in celebration of International Women's Month. So go check it out. Reach reach out to unite, love, and encourage each other. So, Global Women Who Rule, March 27. All right,
Yep.
welcome back. Welcome back to the stream with Horeb. He talked about a lot of things, no? He talked about a
A
lot of
lot.
things. We talked about a lot of things, and if you have kung may mga tanong kayo kay Horeb, no, you can you can look for him in Facebook or Instagram, no, and we can probably have a better discussion for that, no.
Yeah, actually, meron siyang bukas, Sonny. Every Wednesdays, he has an orientation, Wednesdays and Saturdays, so they can join his orientation if they have time.
Right.
Mamaya, ipa-flash natin kung paano sila
Papakita
mag-join.
natin yung
Right.
right. So Horeb, to just to wrap up, no, a little bit, everything that you've mentioned, no, and especially about when you, for our new investors, no, those who are interested in investing, what should you consider, no, what should you consider as part of your investment portfolio?
Okay. Number one, we have to consider that times are changing constantly and we are being propelled to consider these changes. No? So kaya kanina ang start, nagsimula tayo sa industrialization 1.0 where physicality matters, physicality of the industry. And then we transition to industrialization 2.0 where on your desk, nandyan na yung workspace mo. You don't have to even travel. No? And then we proceeded to discussing ano ba yung ibang mga possible things that we can consider investing in. Ano, mga technology-related companies, ano yung mukha ng industrialization 2.0, AI, genomics, and so on. So in short, we have to first consider the global dynamics. Where is the world heading? So we have to understand that as good students of history. No, after that macro level outlook, tignan natin kung ano yung mga companies that we believe in, no? Ano yung mga naiintindihan nating kumpanya? Gumagamit ba kayo ng Zoom? Try looking at Zoom. Gumagamit ba kayo ng Facebook Market? Are you a digital seller? For example, Shopify. Then take a look at Shopify. So ganon. On a personal level naman, we have to understand our personal inflation like what Miss Haydee and I discussed a while ago. Dapat nabibeat natin ng returns natin yung personal or household inflation. No? We also have to consider ano ba yung laman ng mga ETFs or mga mutual funds na iniinvesta natin. Puro lang ba yan real estate, food and beverage, legacy telcos, yung mga, I call them dinosaurs, no, because I don't see them contributing a lot of growth in the future. They can grow, but not as much growth contribution. Let's say Google's artificial intelligence, no, or 3D printing capabilities and scaling of Tesla, for example. So ano ba yung laman ng mga ini-invest na nating mutual funds? No? Number 3, the proof is in the pudding. Ano ba yung returns ngayon in the past 5 years ng mga ini-invest na nating financial instruments? From tricycle, kailangan na ba nating lumipat papunta sa jeepney or palitan na yung jeepney natin altogether? So ganon. So makitignan natin ano yung takbo ng returns ng portfolio natin. Ano? And of course, ano yung expected retirement fund natin in, let's say, 10 to 15 years. And I'll teach more of this for free without any strings attached or any sales whatsoever. This is going to be a pay-forward session for Filipinos para hindi naman tayo, alam mo yun, kulong lang sa isang banda or sa mga limited na palagay sa investing, no? So you can bring out your cell phones and screen and scan the QR code that's being flashed on the screen. So this one is scheduled every Wednesdays and Saturdays, 6 p.m. So here I discuss global investments from the what, to the how. So ayan yung complete suite. Ano at paano. So step by step. So I hope to discuss more about this with you as you start your journey or continue your journey in investing locally and globally.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Horeb, no? And thank you,
As always,
everyone.
kulang pa din yung
As
oras ni
always.
Horeb, no? Ganun palagi. So, bitin palagi.
Ang
So,
dami kasing kailangan pag-usapan, no? But I think the scanning that QR code that we showed kanina, no, will help you if you're interested to further your knowledge, no, and have that learning session with Horeb, no. So we're living in very interesting times, and we'd like to thank Horeb, no, for sharing with us his vast knowledge, no, on being a global investor, right? It's always a pleasure to be able to have a conversation
Likewise.
with you, Horeb.
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you again, Horeb. And sana hindi ka magsawa kung tatawagan ka na naman namin. I'm pretty
It's
sure
a pleasure to be here.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much,
Horeb.
Horeb.
Did you want to greet anybody before you go?
Thank you for asking. I just want to greet, of course, Hedge Unit and Creators of Wealth. Let's keep on building together.
Wow.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, look it up.
Again.
Creators of Wealth, and Creators of Wealth. You can find you can search it up. All right, and good luck to you and your future endeavors, and
Thank
to
you.
everybody who's listening in as well. All right.
More power to TNC. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
Horeb.
much, Horeb. Stay safe.
All right. So it's a very interesting discussion with Horeb, pero kulang tayo ng oras, no? It's always good to be able to talk about things like this, no? Especially if you're heavily, quote unquote, if you're heavily invested, no, in what's happening in the global market. So we're all in this together, and we're basically here to try to build ourselves, no, for whatever future that we want to build for ourselves.
Tsaka ang ganda lang nung sinabi ng Horeb na we will build together kasi somehow this is really an information na pwede nating simulan, no? Because not a lot of people know about the accessibility of global investing.
So there are many pathways, no, to financial success. And one of these pathways, no, is to be able to invest a portion, no, of whatever excess profit that you have, no, in the global market, no. Have a goal, have a financial goal, and find the pathway that suits you.
Yeah.
No?
And before we end tonight, Sonny, I would just like to pay tribute and last respect to one of our guests in the show last December. Sadly, a very good friend and colleague passed away, si Mayan Laluces, last week, no? Just in time for our show. Then, siguro kung nakikita nyo na meron, nag-iba yung mood ko after the commercial break last week because that was the very time that she passed away. One of PhilAmLife's icon and pillars, agency manager, Mayan Laluces. And I hope that our friends, our viewers will help us in praying for her eternal rest. Mayan, we will miss you, and we hope that you will have a peaceful journey.
Yeah, it's a very difficult time for all of us now, because we hear me and Haydee, we love this couple. We love Mayan, and our hearts are broken. Our thoughts and prayers go to the family, Toto, and the kids. Know that you're always in our hearts, and we will be there for whatever it is that you need. So we dedicate this show to our dear friend who passed away, Mayan. We love you, and
Toto, stay
and
strong.
Toto, stay strong. We're behind you all the way. Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for the time that you've given to us. Yeah, it's a difficult time, but
ang bigat ng last week.
Ang bigat. ang bigat siya. But this show is dedicated to you. Paalam until we see each other again. All right. And good night, everybody. Thank you for
And hope,
tuning in.
yes, thank you to our dear viewers, and hope that you were able to get a lot of insights and information with tonight's episode. And if you have time again, I'm inviting you to join Horeb's orientation tomorrow. Not necessarily you joining or investing, but just an orientation
Just
to
to
have
learn.
more knowledge about it, to learn,
Right.
and to start something new.
Right. So, good night, everybody. Stay safe. Be kind. Remember, the financial freedom is in
Is
your
in
hands.
your hands.
Good night.
Good night.